So I'm walking along through the forest the other day, and I came across this small little creek. It's not even flowing, doesn't look like anything special at all. There's minimal gravels there in the center, but what I did is I took a pan and I found gold, which is kind of amazing because most of this stuff here is just sandy material. So there's some fine gold along here, and what we wanted to do is just show you can find gold pretty much anywhere. So we're going to take some pans along this little creek and see what kind of gold we can find. We got a little bit of gravel here, so we're going to take a pan from somewhere in this area here and see what we get. So I don't know if you can see all this right here, but all this kind of clay sandy area is really oxidized. It's basically like a layer of rust on top, which is kind of interesting. I don't see it down there anymore. Could be a hunk of metal somewhere in there, but it could also be something leaching out of the bank. So we got our first pan here. Let's get her done. It's kind of dark in here, and that's only because it's 8 o'clock at night and we're trying to beat the heat. It was 45 degrees today, so we're trying to stay out of the sun as much as we can. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's larger than about 3/4 of an inch for the gravels. I do see a little bit of black sand in there. So we got a bit of gold here. A little bit difficult to see, but there's about 10 fine little pieces in there. There's a few up there. So what we're actually doing is we're about 15 meters outside the creek on the bank, and we wanted to test to see if there's gold here, see if it's actually made its way from somewhere else. It's not actually transported in the creek. Gotta test everything, I guess. Really sandy. It's getting dark pretty quick. Okay, let's see if we got anything here. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, so this is really interesting now. Let's get some of those black sands out of there. Where's the gold coming from? We found gold 15 meters outside the creek. And that's bigger than the stuff that's in the creek. There's 2 small little flakes there and a couple little fines in here. So we're in a relatively flat area. There's a little bit of a bank going up here, and then on either side of this it's about 300 meters of really flat logged area, and then we don't get to the mountain till about 1 kilometer that way, and then it gets really steep. So we're going to do another test pan right here. We're outside the bank, about 20 meters away from the last spot and 10 meters away from the creek. This is a really sandy material. We just did a test pan already and found some gold. On the upside of this, it's really gravelly, and you have lots of sandy material, lots of larger gravels. I'll show you guys when we hike out what that looks like. This water does not smell very good. It's been stagnant for a while. Okay, that is actually really decent. Nice amount of specks there. So I thought I'd show you this. Might give you a better idea on where the gold comes from. This material here slopes down and goes into the creek, and then you can see underneath you have quite a bit larger gravels. This is kind of your overburden area, and this is actually sitting above the creek about 15-20 meters in elevation. So you can see rocks like this all over the place. So there is some mineralized rocks, and that might give you a better idea on where this gold's come from. Here is a rock we just pulled out of the bank. Take a look at this. Basically just dealing with solid mineral here. And that's another hint on where this comes from. So a lot of this material comes from a really steep part of the mountain where it's fallen off. And there's a couple old gold mines there. So this is probably a hunk of some of the tailings. And this creek that we found the gold in comes from right near the old mines and the dump. So most likely the gold in this creek is stuff that's washed away from the waste pile, and the amount of gold that's in there is actually pretty substantial for a waste pile. So we'll have to take a look at that in the future. It's just a little bit of a steep climb to get up there, and it's a little bit unsafe right now. So that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.